welcome to Nithrania YouTube channel. My name is Branislav Berec and this is a preview video for the game called Vendel the Viking from ION Game Design. Vendel is the name of the era that preceded the Vikings era. It lasted for about 250 years and the culture and technology that was developed during this era led to the Vikings era eventually. In this game, players will take a role of powerful family members or powerful families, and they will try to become the most influential family in the Vendel era. And it is a historical game for 1 to 6 players. It can be played between 60 to 120 minutes. It has some vibes of the PAX games. I'll talk about it later at the end of the video, but first let me show you how the game plays, and then I'll give you my first impression from the game. Here we have the game in progress. There are 3 game boards. This is the map, this is the ancestry board and the market board. The map is divided into 3 regions. Each region has a certain number of locations. These tokens are family members of each player, and these longbows, they only indicate the number of action points spent during the turn. I'll come to that in a minute. Here we have the ancestry board. Again, you will be able to place your tokens here, and as you progress here you will be able to get these achievements. With each achievement you score victory points at the end of the game and you have some immediate powerful benefit. And the market board contains these formidables. These people, you will be able to acquire them during the game, and these are location cards. They're called venture cards that are placed in the corresponding region. Here we have the mission cards, which are basically objectives, endgame objectives. Novice are the easiest ones to fulfill. The legendary are the most difficult. On the other hand, the legendary give you the most victory points at the end of the game. Then each player has a family board. Each family board starts with these 2 spaces at the bottom, and these small short yellow lines indicate how you can develop that family tree. These tokens are your family members. Each family member has a symbol, and each symbol indicates the special ability of that family member. There are 6 of them. They're also indicated here, and each family member has 2 sides. This one is unexhausted, which means it's available to take an action. This one is the exhausted side. These tokens here are in your reserve. They are available. These family members are locked. You can unlock them as you progress on the family tree. And you also have some starting mission cards that are face down. As you unlock and go through the family tree, you will unlock them and have them available. This is a first player token, and each player will also have some money, some silver, and these are gold tokens or gold money. Now, the game is played over a certain number of rounds, maximum 12 rounds, but the game can end earlier than at the end of the 12th round. And during each round, players take turns, starting with the first player and continuing clockwise. And on your turn, you have these 3 basic actions available, then 6 special actions, and you have 4 action points available during the round. How you spend those action points, it's up to you. Each action consumes some of these action points, so on your turn you only take 1 of these actions if you have the action points available. If you don't, then you can pass, and once all players have passed, the game proceeds to the next to the generation shift, which is the upkeep phase, and then the game proceeds to the next round. Now I'm going to briefly describe these actions. 3 basic actions can be taken by any family member. Those family members have to be on the game board, on the map, or sometimes in the reserve, because we'll start with the journey action. With this one you can take a family member which is either in your reserve or any family member on the map, and you can take that family member and place it in any location on the map. Now, if you place it in a location where you have the presence, which means you either have your home location there or you are in a location which has the venture card, and you have more tokens in that location than any other player, then you have the dominance there. And if you have a dominance at least in one location, then you have the presence in the region. So when you place a token in that kind of region, you always place a token with the exhausted side up, and that costs you 1 action point. If you place a token in a region where you don't have the presence, you would have to use one of your long ships, which indicates another action point. And if you want, let's say I have these two still available, if I place a token here, I still don't have the presence. Yeah, I don't have the presence yet in this region, which means I have to spend one of my longboats. That's the second action point. And if I want, if I would like to add a location card into this location, that would cost me another action point. So again, another longboat. But in that case, I take the top card from the stack, place it there, and that's my third action point. With this, I basically lost I spent 3 action points out of 4. I completed my action, and then it's the next player's turn. So that's the journey. Basically with the journey, you move on the map, either with the existing family members on the map, or you take more family members from your reserve and you place them on the map. Then the activate action, you can only take that action with one of your unexhausted family members, and you simply activate the effect on the location, but you can only do that if you have the dominance in that location, which means you have more family members than any other player. You can take this action with any family member, you exhaust that family member and take the action. Then the invest action is one of the most important actions in the game, because with that action you gain these formidables. When you take this action, you have to take a family member from somewhere on the map, and when you take one of these, if you want one of these formidables, you have to have a family member with a matching token, which is also printed on that family on that card. So here it's merchant, and in addition, that merchant must be in the region, in the location stated on the card. Here is Estonia. Here we are in Estonia, which means I can use this merchant in Estonia to take this formidable. It costs a certain amount of money, so here it's 3 money, which I need to spend from my own personal reserve. Then I can take the card, and the card is placed somewhere in my family tree, either in one of these bottom spaces if they're still empty, for example here, or once I have some of these ancestors in the family tree, I can follow these small white lines and further develop it. So I could potentially place the card here, over here, or even here, and when I do that, I unlock whatever is in that space. Here we have another mission card, and the mission card gives me the objective for the end of the game. You can unlock these additional family members, you can unlock more gold, and potentially other mission cards. The invest action continues with the most important element. You take the family member and you lose that family member for the rest of the game. You place it on this ancestry board. Each location, one of these 6 locations, has a symbol, the talent symbol. So you have to place that token on the corresponding space. Now, first of all, you have to place them. If you don't have any of these tokens here, you have to place them. Now, if you have a token in 2 adjacent locations, then following these lines, you can take this token, and with that, basically that's your achievement. It's called portage here. Normally these have standees, but for the presentation here, I wanted to keep them flat on the game board, on the ancestry board. You take that token, that's your achievement. It's worth 4 victory points at the end of the game, and it also has some one-time special ability. Those one-time special abilities are described in the rulebook. Then when you have when you manage to get a token to this location, so you take this achievement, or the achievement can be taken by other players, for example here with by the pink player, but if you manage to get token here as well, since you have a token here and here, you will be able to get this silver achievement, and once you have tokens in these 3 locations, you would be able to take the gold achievement later in the game. When you finish the action, slide the cards down, or you can do these kind of crazy things. You can slide the cards down and horizontally, and then place the new card from the top of the stack. So that's in a nutshell is the invest action. Now, each of your family members have one special ability. You have the merchant, which is the token I just used. As you can see, you lose those tokens permanently. They remain on the ancestry board for the rest of the game. But in case, let's say we have the merchant on the map, for example here, when you activate that merchant, it has to be unexhausted. You exhaust that merchant and you scored, or you gain 1 coin for each region where you have the presence, which means there's this one location where you dominate. This is one way of getting money, not the only one. Then with the settler, that's this one. When you activate the settler, that's for example this token, but we have the settler here as well. When you activate that settler, you can take any family member from the available family members and you place it in the same location but unexhausted side up. By the way, taking a look at all these exhausted tokens on the map or on the game board, you can see how many action points you have spent. I'm just presenting the game here, so I have more of them, but looking at the situation here, I have 1 exhausted token, 2nd, 3rd, so let's say this one would be still face up, 1, 2, 3 and 4, which means 4 action points already spent and my round would be over. This is very easy way how to see how many action points you've spent. But coming back to the settler action, with that action you simply take one of your available family members and place it unexhausted side up on the map. Very useful. Then with the warriors, when you activate them, you can eliminate enemy tokens from the same location. Let's say we would have it like this. With warrior, I can exhaust that warrior, and since there's 1 warrior, I can eliminate 1 enemy family member or family member of another player. That is returned to that player. In case I would have, let me get another one, and let's go over here. In case I have 2 family members, and even one of them can be exhausted, I have 2 warriors in one location. By activating one of them, the power is 2, and I can eliminate 2 enemy tokens from the same locations. Very powerful. So that's warrior. Then with the shipwright, we have him here. Let me move them over here. With the shipwright, I can take that token and other token from the same location and move them to any other location. This is very useful, how to move them from one location to another, how to move multiple tokens. It follows the journey rules, so you would have to spend additional action points. But this is how you move pretty much larger army or a larger group of tokens from your family members from one location to another. Then with the leader, we have the leader, for example here, it's a pink leader. With the leader, you can take a coin from the co-located family member, and then you can discard the venture card and replace it with a new one from the top of the stack. Note that with these special actions of your family members, when you perform those actions, you don't have to have the majority on the location. Unlike with actions like invest, for example, or activate. Finally, with the series, that's this symbol or this one, you can convert the family token, family member of another player, to your own one. So you would return this token to the pink player and then replace it with the leader of your own token. You preserve the exhausted and unexhausted state, and this is a great way how to turn enemy tokens into your own tokens. So that's basically an overview of all these actions. Once you take once you spend 4 action points during the round and all players pass, then the degeneration shift is performed. All these exhausted family members are flipped back to unexhausted side. Obviously, you can only, as I said, you can have maximum 4 action points spent, so you would not flip 8 of them, only very few family members. You take the longships back to your reserve, and the first player marker is moved clockwise to the next player. In a 1 and 2 player game, it goes to the player with the fewest number of these formidables. So that's the end of the round, and then the next round starts. Then the game ends when at least one player gains 2 golden achievements, or if no player achieves that during the game, the game ends at the end of the 12th round. The victory points, you score 2 victory points for each location where you have the dominance. Then you score 4 victory points for each bronze achievement, 6 victory points for silver, 8 victory points for the golden one. Then you also score victory points from your mission cards. Some venture cards, some locations may also score victory points, may give you victory points at the end of the game. And then the player with the most points is the winner. So that's Vendel to Viking in a nutshell, really. This is how the game plays. The rules are very simple, very easy to understand, very easy to learn, and easy to explain, because the game flow is very intuitive. You only have those 4 action points, and that's pretty much it. 3 basic actions, and then 6 actions, 1 action specific to each of your family members or specific family members. And with these few options, the game has incredible depth and complexity. And well, when you start playing the game, I suppose in the first round you just play some of the family members with the journey action on the map. And when you look at what you need to do in the game, it's easy to see that you need those formidables, you need those people. So you look at the talent symbols on those cards, and you take the family members with the same talent symbol and you place them in a location which is also indicated on that card. So for example, when I take this card, you look at that symbol, you look at the location, and that's where you want to place your family member. Other players will probably not try to compete too much with you. So first round, second round, pretty much easy to do. And the complexity and the depth is still not visible. When you acquire, because with the first round, you basically place your family members on the map. During the second round, you take the invest action, you take the person, pay the coins, and then you look at the ancestry board and you see which are the adjacent symbols. So you try to find another person on the market, take your family member with the matching symbol, place it in the corresponding location. So the first 2 or 3 rounds feel like maybe you don't really understand what the game is about, because it seems to be easy thing to do. Just place the matching family members on the map. So where's the hook? And then when you want to acquire the second family member, you realize you don't have enough money. So how do I generate money? Well, I can take the merchant action and activate my merchant and gain some coins. But at the start of the game, usually you will only get 1 coin, which is not enough. And taking the merchant action to get 1 coin is very, very inefficient. So you realize that, well, maybe I can install my presence in another region. Maybe you can do that. but that gives you 2 coins. And then when you look at those locations and special abilities of those locations, if you activate certain locations, they give you money. And sometimes you see that, well, easily you can get 4 money or even 5. That's quite a lot of money compared to 1 or 2 coins from the merchant action. So you, well, take the family member and you go to that location to secure the dominance there so that you can activate that location on the subsequent round. But you're not the only smart player at the table. Other players will realize the same thing, and you place the maybe the matching family member with the matching symbol as some of those family members, but the other player places a warrior there. And then you realize, well, you're in trouble. Then you want to place another family member, but then you realize that the player order matters a lot in this game, because when you place those family members on locations with the journey action, they're all exhausted. So you can only activate them again in the next round because they will get unexhausted at the end of the round. But then if the other player is the first one to act, or he acts before you, he can use that warrior, kill one of your family members, and then suddenly you don't have the dominance in that location. And suddenly you shift your focus from looking at those ancestors and stuff like that into how do I win the fight for a specific location. And then you understand the importance of seerers, because seer can convert the family members of other players into your color. Then you understand how important it is to have the warriors, especially 2 warriors, in the same location and have them unexhausted and keep them unexhausted if it's a location which you definitely want to keep control of. And all of a sudden it's round 5, round 6, and you start seeing that depth and complexity, because suddenly it's no longer a random placement of your family members anywhere on the map, maybe on a matching locations than those ancestors. Suddenly you see, okay, this is an important location for me. This one is really important. You think about how to secure those locations and how to generate money in this game. It's important. The money is very tight in this game. And only then you start looking at the ancestry board. Okay, how do I actually get those achievements? Because it's after second, third round, you completely shift your focus away from those ancestors. You try to secure locations, you try to find a way how to generate money. And so it's round 5, round 6, and you realize you need to return back to the ancestry board. And then you look at your mission cards. Maybe you have unlocked 1 or 2 mission cards already. And you realize that getting the bronze achievement, it's 4 victory points. When you take another one, well, another 4, get a silver 6 victory points. And they could be quite difficult to get, especially based on the situation on the map. But you look at your mission card, and it's maybe you have easy 5 victory points, and 5 victory points is quite a lot in this game. Maybe you look at your legendary mission card, and you see a condition which you can, with difficulties obviously, you can fulfill, but that's going to be 9 victory points. And imagine you have to get to the golden achievement, which is 8 victory points. That's a lot more work to get those golden achievements than, for example, the legendary mission card. So, and suddenly you only have 3 basic actions, 6 special actions of your family members, and suddenly your head explodes, and you see so many options in this game, so much replayability, so much variability. It's highly interactive because you need to react to other players. It really reminds me of other PAX games. This is not a solitaire game, although it may look like in the first 2 or 3 rounds, because you don't want to fight with each other too much. You want to secure your easy ancestors in the first 2 or 3 rounds. But then it starts to be highly interactive. A lot of fighting for specific locations. Sometimes you can easily see that your fight for location is lost. because of the turn order. Then you realize you need to make big actions and big moves when you're going to be acting before the critical opponent in the game. All these things, when they start coming together around 6, 7, 8, wow, it was, for me, it was phenomenal feeling. And immediately after finishing the game, I wanted to play another one right away, saying, okay, this time I'm going to play completely differently because now I know what I want to do. Then you understand how to set up your family board, because when you take the advanced side of the family board, you can rearrange those mission cards and family members there any way you want. For the first game, you have no idea what you want to do. In the second game, you already do. Then you evaluate your family members and their special abilities much better in the first game, because you know that even the settler can be extremely critical and important. Even the guy, how is it called, shipwright, who moves 2 other family member tokens from one location to another. That's a great way how to invade another location. So you build your force somewhere and then you can invade it. Suddenly you're not present in 6, 7 locations in a region. You may be present in 2, or you may dominate, but you can even be present. You can have the family members in maybe just 2 locations, but very important locations. There is no limit to the number of family members in one location. So you can have your warriors there protecting your family members. You can have a settler there, settler bringing on more family members. And you can have a shipwright there. And suddenly you build a large army, and then you can move that army anywhere on the game board. But it all takes time, it all takes some action points. So it depends on how you want to develop your ancestry board. And as you can see, there's a lot of things that beautifully clicks with together and creates a beautiful, fantastic, complex but interactive, although easy to understand, easy to learn, difficult to play game. Because this is exactly the type of game which I love, with simple rules. After 2 rounds of the first game, I didn't have any difficulties with the rules. I did not think about, do I play the game correctly according to the rules. I didn't have to look into the rules except for the description of the special abilities and one-time benefits of those achievements. Other than that, I didn't have to look into the rules. It was really easy to understand how the game plays. And after 2nd, 3rd round, I only focused on my strategy. And that's exactly what I love with these difficult, complex games, even though they are complex, difficult to play well. But they're easy to play because the rules are really easy to understand. So all of a sudden, I felt exactly the same way when I played Pax Pamir, which is my #1 game of all time. I had the same feeling, same excitement. I felt like in the middle of the first game, I was lost. By the end of the first game, I thought I know what the game is about. I wanted to play immediately the new one, and I had the same feeling here. So much to discover, so much to explore, so much to try, so many different strategies. You don't have to go for the achievements. You can go for your mission cards. If you combine those mission cards, if you unlock 3 of them, for example, and they are well synchronized, you can use one strategy to fulfill 2 or 3 mission cards, which gives you a ton of victory points at the end of the game. So easy to follow if those objective or mission cards are synchronized. If not, you can exchange some of them, try to get another one, and these mission cards may give you some direction in the game, or you can completely ignore them. You can ignore them and focus on something else. You can focus on achievements. You can focus on dominance on the map. Dominating a location is 2 victory points. Dominating 3 locations is 6 victory points. Even that is a way how to score victory points. some of those locations can also give you victory points based on certain conditions. So not only you control that location, you also fulfill the condition. So many things have to get victory points. So interactive. Wow, I'm so impressed with this game. I'm so much impressed with this one. Eager to play more and more and more and try different strategies, and having lots of interaction in this game, and learning how to how to use those family members in the most efficient way, when and how to use exactly those seers, how to use the settlers. Those are small, beautiful nuances in this game. So highly, highly, highly recommend it from my perspective. That's Vendel to Viking. Let me know your comments. Let me know how you feel about the game, how it sounds to you. As I said, for me, this is a definitely game that is worth exploring and checking out. You've been watching game preview for Vendel to Viking. My name is Branislav Berec, and hope to see you next time with another preview video or with a tutorial.